So apparently Donald Trump's got a new photo op, and that is the Shield of Americas. It says President Donald Trump with leaders from across Latin America at the Shield of Americas Summit. And this is kind of like his Board of Peace thing is when in doubt, just take a bunch of photos and hastily put this stuff together to look like you're doing something. This is a response to the Shield of America's photo op. And it says, fixed it. And it puts him in a clown suit, which I think is appropriate for this.
Well, I think it shows that the renewed focus that President Trump and the Secretary of State have on the Western Hemisphere. For far too long, we have really basically ignored our own neighborhood. And so
I guess we're talking about the neighborhood. And what I noticed immediately, a couple of reactions. So one is both Canada and Mexico are not on the list. So I don't know if they're in the Shield of Americas or not, but apparently didn't come to this summit. That's one. And then two, yeah, it just feels like the Board of Peace thing, which obviously is a joke. Trump says, I'm the Board of Peace, and then just starts bombing, right? So I guess for Shield of Americas, just think opposite day, whatever opposite of shield is. So maybe that's sword. And then the opposite, or if it is indeed a sword, then I guess we're going to overextend our military to Latin America and otherwise. My other reaction also is maybe Trump's planning his retirement, be it Argentina or El Salvador. Who knows? Maybe Ecuador is on the list. The thing is, if you ask the regular American, are you concerned about the Shield of Americas? Probably not. Most people these days are talking about gas prices. This was in the Wall Street Journal. It says America braces for oil shock as Iran war throttles supply. And they were talking to a trucker, which gas prices would matter considerably for them. And I'll read a bit what it says. It says the trucker catalogs diesel prices each time she fuels up. For the roughly 500-mile round trip, she makes 6 nights a week hauling modular dorm rooms for the Los Angeles, right? More than $1 a gallon run-up since January shaves about 5% of her earnings for most journeys. Quote, now we're going to eat a lot of it. She would have asked for better rates as she'd known about the impending geopolitical turmoil. And that's a pretty typical experience of an average person just always want to remember that there are real people on the ground who are affected by Trump's policies. If you look at this whole Shield of America thing, it was a fairly small event, right? There's Trump there. There's just not a lot of people around. And I think a lot of these things are hastily planned, if planned at all, right? Because it's like something out of the blue, you got this Board of Peace and now Shield of Americas, and you can see there's just not that many people there. Chances are I'm willing to bet there's more press than there are people, and that's probably just mostly Trump's people laughing and, at his jokes and stuff like that. So there's that. Iran, which is being beat to hell, has apologized and surrendered to its Middle East neighbors, okay, and promised that it will not shoot at them anymore. This promise was only made because of the relentless U.S. and Israeli assault. They were looking to take over and rule the Middle East. It is the first time that Iran has ever lost in thousands of years to surrounding Middle Eastern countries. So Trump's trying to claim that the war is over and Iran lost. That's what they're trying to claim here. They have said, thank you, President Trump. I have said, you're welcome. What? Iran is no longer the, quote, bully of the Middle East. They are instead the loser of the Middle East. Every time they does this stuff, it's like Trump's talking about himself here as being the loser of the Middle East. It's so weird. And will be for many decades. Yeah, I agree. Trump's a loser for decades and will surrender or most likely completely collapse. Today, Iran will be hit very hard under serious consideration for complete destruction and certain death because of Iran's bad behavior in areas and groups of people that were not considered for targeting until this moment in time. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Okay. And
here to weigh in is Eli Kohanim, former State Department Deputy Special Envoy who fled Iran. Eli, first, this is very complicated. The idea of an American president picking the next president of Iran or seeming to pick the next president of Iran, that could have, deleterious, repercussions in the Middle East. But most importantly, is this the right way to go here? Should the Iranian people be given some leeway to find their own leader? Is that even possible, given how dangerous?
Right. Is that even possible that Trump can just come in and pick a leader and everything's going to be great? No, it's not possible. But that's what they try to do on Fox News is whatever stupid crap that Trump says or tweets, and they try to justify that it's awesome. But this is where these people on Fox or, the MAGA people clown themselves daily, because just ask yourself this basic question, right? Can any country just go to another country and say, okay, we choose your leader and you will be happy? It's not going to work. It's got to come from the people, on the ground. It's got to come from their own people. They if they want to have, a particular system, they got to choose their own system. You can't just force it upon someone.
As them, we have also just reached a historic gold deal. It's called the gold deal with Venezuela to allow our two countries to work together to facilitate the sale of Venezuelan gold and other minerals. They have great amounts of gold. They have good land.
So we're talking about gold and good land. And this is how he talks about many countries, right? He wants to build his Trump hotels. Another way, simplest way to think about it is like he wants to go into whatever country and raid all their resources and then sell it, I guess. So now we're talking about gold and oil and such.
So let's think about what has happened. Let's list it out. So we took out the Iranian regime leader, the Ayatollah Khomeini, and then 40 of the top leaders. We degraded their military. You can see we've been laying that out all day, all morning. We've because they've decided to attack their neighbors, and we've kind of unified them behind us. So that's kind of worked in our favor to some degree. We've outed fake allies, Spain, England, right? Why should we ever help them again? This is a way to reveal that. We talked a little bit about the insurance situation for ships coming across the Straits of Hormuz. So there's that angle as well, which is very interesting. So to me, this already looks like victory. And so I say, let's declare victory very quickly.
So I guess according to Fox News, we need to declare victory very quickly. We've already won. Wow, great. And they have like this, everything they say is whacked out every day on this channel. It's like, oh, why should we even be friends with Spain or England ever again, right? It's like just weird. So let me show you guys what's going on. This is on Al Jazeera, and it says Iran war live. Trump vows very hard strikes. Iran says will not surrender, right? So this idea of a quick victory. And I think anyone who knows anything about, military history or just history in general, again, you can't just go in and pick someone else's leader and think that everything's going to be jolly after that. It's not. And you're going to essentially, and now Trump's lately been talking about putting U.S. troops on the ground for, special operations or whatever, but you could trap and not only trap us militarily, but trap us economically and just basically doom the future. I don't know what else to say other than this is what it is. Even an intel report was leaked today. This was actually in the Washington Post, and the basic gist of it is it's unlikely that you're going to be able to change the regime in Iran. So let me read the details. You can see it says a classified report by the National Intelligence Council found that even a large-scale assault on Iran launched by the United States would be unlikely to oust the Islamic Republic's entrenched military and clerical establishment. A sobering assessment as the Trump administration raises the specter of an extended military campaign that officials has, quote, say only just begun. Basically, Trump's plan is not going to work. And I guess this thing came out before Israel and the U.S. decided to attack. It says in both cases, the intelligence concluded that Iran's clerical military establishment would respond to the killing of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei by following protocols designed to preserve continuity of power. So even if you remove Khamenei, they'll still find a way to stay in power. The prospects of Iran's fragmented opposition, so people against the current regime, the prospect of them taking control of the country was described as, quote, unlikely. So the people who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss the classified report. So this was the talk of our own intel saying, chances are you're not going to be able to change the regime. And if there is going to be change, it's got to come from the people themselves. You can't just expect to go in and, again, dictate someone else's leader or whatever. I also want to show you guys what's going on in more sane countries. This is just what it is. Here in Korea, the discussion is how can we get people home, right? President Lee orders all available means mobilized for Koreans' evacuation from the Middle East. And this has been our news also. They're talking about like now that Trump's involving 12 countries in the fighting. You can see this here. And then what they were showing is airport. And basically the government's working hard to bring people home. And it's very, very different than, say, the USA, where Trump's like, hey, guys, how about we use our military more, in Latin America and shield Americas, or how about we, attack more in Iran. And here in Korea, it's just like people are coming home, they're in tears, and they were talking about how when they arrived, everyone on the plane is clapping and just happy to be safe and home with their families, which is what regular people think about, right? And I don't want to just, preference one country or the other. It's going to be Europeans feel the same way. I just want to be safe, get back to my family. People in the Middle East feel the same way. I just want to go to school. I don't want to be bombed by the Americans. I just want to go to the market. I just, and that's what it is. It's completely, this whole thing is completely destabilizing. And I don't ever want to give the impression like, Chris is defending the Iran regime. It's not about that. It's just that we don't have the power just to go and, bomb everything and expect everything's going to be great after that. It's not. And in fact, this is where we're at. Live update strikes across Iran with no compromise in sight. I mean, what do you expect? Like, that's our plan, is to bomb everything? I mean, the bombing of Tehran and maps and satellites and satellite images. I was looking at the map here. I mean, it's just like, this is Tehran here, and it's just bombing everywhere. The red, which I'll show you guys, this is Financial Times. That's the military, internal security, so it's all over the map. Different government buildings. Gray would be unknown, so we're not sure what that is. So, but it's like multiple sites. It looks like carpet bombing to me. I'll just be frank. You got civilian targets that have definitely been hit, as you can see, and there's like just one nuclear target way off to the northeast corner. Because like they always say, guys, we got to stop Iran from nuclear, but it's like that's only one target compared to all this stuff. I mean, everything that Trump does is BS. It should be obvious to anyone watching this stuff. Because when you check in on him, this is what he has to say.
It's so good that we got to know so many of you. I mean, we're so many. And I'd love to get to your countries at some point. Marco loves going to your countries. He's always at one of these countries. He likes your countries the best, okay? Where are you? I'm in Chile. Oh, good. How's Chile doing? Good. He likes it. He feels very calm. We all like him, right? It helps. He's got a language. He's got a language advantage over me, because I'm not learning your damn language. I don't have time. I was okay with languages, but I'm not going to spend time learning your language. That much I won't do. Just give me a good interpreter. Interpreter, very important. And I know if somebody's good. I may not speak the language, but I know I had an interpreter recently that wasn't good, talking to a very strong person from a different part of the world. And I could tell, even though I don't speak the language, I could tell the interpreter was not good. When you go, when I give a long, flowing, beautiful sentence, and in this case it was a woman, and she gave it in about 1/4 the time, I said, well, their language may be efficient, but it's not that efficient. And I could also tell when I have great interpreters.
And you can tell there what Trump is describing a couple things. So one is, I don't want to learn your language, right? So Trump and his people, they don't care about learning about other countries or, having good relations. So in this situation, say Iran, if you don't want to, just for example, because he's talking about America's here, but just for example, Iran, if you don't want to learn another culture or language, then how do you expect to just choose someone else's leader? That's not going to work. I mean, this is their attitude. Or you're talking about the interpreter situation, which I'm sure interpreters around the world all feel the same thing. Oh my God, I got to figure out a way to interpret this stupid crap that Trump says. Like, how do I even do that? And Trump thinks he says this awesome flowing sentences or whatever, how he describes it, but to regular people, I mean, I can understand Trump in terms of the English that he's saying, but how would I even explain it to English to English, like Trump to regular people? How do you even interpret that, let alone Trump to yet another language? It's just, it's like he doesn't realize how bad he looks every single day. It should be obvious to anyone.
Jose Cast, congratulations. It's an endorsement. Give you a little endorsement. I love when I give endorsements and people win. But you know what? They don't lose. I don't know. I guess it would be illegal. Could you imagine if I could say, they spend millions and millions and millions of dollars on a campaign. They're losing. And they beg me for an endorsement. I give them an endorsement. They win by 30 points. And I get nothing. If I could sell that, is there a way, do we have any of our legal people here? Little Marco's close enough. Is there a way I could get paid for that, Marco? I'd make a lot. They spend millions of dollars, and I give it for nothing. I could, even if I put it into the Treasury of the United States, it would be pretty good, right, Marco? But Marco's saying this is not a good idea.
So again, it should be obvious with any of this stuff. His conversations in private then is always, how can I profit off being president, right? The same way he wants to build his hotels, his crypto scams or whatever. How can I make money off endorsing political candidates? And that's who this dude is. He's a felon. Just make it really clear. So that's what's going on. I'd like to hear your thoughts, and I'll catch you all in the next video.